1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Those vegan guys.
I thank you.
We don't need no flash. Hiya, I'm Paul.
I'm Jason.
And we are
Those Vegan Guys.
We're here tonight at the Manchester premiere of the new documentary by Chris Delforce, Dominion. So we're about to watch it. We're going to film some of the question and answers with the director afterwards, and then we'll give you our verdict when we've seen it. Anything else to add, Jason?
Well, we're here to support the film. I don't necessarily know if I'm looking forward to seeing the film, but we're here to support it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see you in a bit. Bye.
So can't you just, we're going to have to now because we paid. You've only just come back from the car. I think they were using it, yeah. So this is obviously my friends went to America and they were like, you know, they have the same system like the doctors and it would just be after she came, she was like, when I met her, she was like semi pissed. Because you remember you had like 5 birds that day. Because you met your friends from Boomtown. Do you remember? Oh yeah, that's what I was going to do.
We're in. We're sat.
Sitting.
And we're waiting for it to start. Try to give you some nice shot. I'm not cameraman. I don't profess to be.
I'm the cameraman.
I'm just a vegan. That's all. I'm a drag queen. You've seen that. So yeah, we will see you afterwards now. We're getting sat there to watch. Bye.
See the sun in flames, tidal waves, washing all the world away. Today, everything we thought will change, and this life will never be the same again.
you enjoyed enjoyed. That's not really the right word, is it?
No.
Enjoyed. I hope you admired the work that went into the trailer. And if you did admire the work that went into the trailer, you would certainly admire the huge amount of work that went into making this documentary. So, funnily enough, by the way, the before the trailer, when I kind of did the slow-mo shot on the poster, that poster had just been put up on the wall by Mr. Del Force, who is the writer, producer, director, creator of this whole thing. It was a very difficult watch. Would you agree?
Yeah. But much needed, I think, as well. And what was also good, I think, from my perspective, was at the end of the film, seeing the work that actually went into getting into some of the areas, the access. I mean, if you've got a drone, it's easy enough, I suppose, to just fly a drone over a huge factory farm and see what's going on there. Not just the size of the buildings and the scale and magnitude of it, but the pools. You know, for the waste is, you know, when you see it from that perspective. But yeah, just the guys and gals going into those places,
the activists,
yeah,
that kind of put themselves at risk to get into these places and to film things. I mean, we were just sat there in a theatre watching this, and I wanted to physically hurt some of the people that were on the screen because they were just mindless, cruel. But I suppose to work in that kind of environment, you have to be, don't you? I mean, how can you work on a line where you're killing or maiming animals continually and have any depth of feeling to you? I don't get that.
No,
I don't kind of get that.
But we wouldn't, would we?
No, of course not.
To put a positive spin on it, because we're really hoping that obviously some positive comes from this film, and obviously the creators are. You know, let's hope that the right people see it. And it is a hard watch, as Paul said right at the start, but I feel quite passionately when I say this that if you're going to comment or inquire about the vegan lifestyle, then I think you should come to that place with some education, with some informed opinion. And
especially if you're going to question it, like, you know, people say, it's really extreme and I couldn't give up all those things, and you're preachy and blah, 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 blah. If you've got any opinions like that, watch Dominion and see what your lifestyle supports before you mock anything about our lifestyle. That's what it boils down to. Even the simple act of buying a carton of milk, dairy milk, and pouring it into your coffee means that you are complicit in horrendous cruelty. Not just pain, emotional cruelty to animals. Let's not forget, and it's a point I try to drive home so much, and especially to people who are vegetarian, fantastic, they're abstaining from meat.
And we were veggie for 17 years.
Yeah, 20 for me.
Yeah.
They're obviously making positive steps in the right direction, but the dairy industry is one of the biggest and most cruel industries. Let's not forget, you have to make a cow pregnant forcibly. You have to take her baby away after 9 months of carrying forcibly to get the milk meant for the baby, which will likely be killed, the baby, unless it is a female and primed to become, you know, on the a dairy cow like its mother. So yeah, it was a difficult watch, and one of the questions that kept kind of permeating through my head throughout it was, how can you get people to watch something like this? Personally, for me, well, for us, because Jason was like, yeah, fair enough. When I said we're going vegan, it was a friend of mine called Lee who recommended a documentary to me called Vegucated. And now that's a very, very good documentary, and there isn't a lot of gore in it. It's a challenge. It's three new people from New York who are challenged to go vegan for a period of time. And yes, there are some harsh bits in it, but for the most part,
It's about their journey.
it's about their journey.
Yeah.
But it does show you things that anyway. I watched it twice over a week, and on the second viewing, when I've taken it all in, I said to my friend I was watching it with at the time, that's it, I'm done, I am done, I'm going vegan today. And I came home and I put a call out on Facebook and said, I've got a load of quorn in my fridge that's vegetarian, not vegan, in my freezer. Who wants it? Gave it to my friend Deb. Did a big shop. Struggled for the first couple of months, as in struggled because we really missed things. You know, it felt like we were depriving ourselves of stuff, but then when that thought came, it was immediately followed with, alright, so if you give yourself those things, then you are contributing to animal cruelty, mindlessly contributing to it, supporting it, paying for it to happen, paying somebody to be cruel to an animal. And so that made it much easier. And by month 4 or 5,
Yeah.
it was really easy, wasn't it? If we went vegan now, it'd be so easy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, 4.5, 5 years ago, there weren't. Holland and Barrett was the only place where I felt I could get lots of stuff that was actually marked vegan. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We were talking about Dominion and why they've started this movement. We're going to put the link to the official website for the movement down there in the info. If you've seen Earthlings, it isn't a million miles away from Earthlings. However, it includes a lot more stuff that I would never watch Earthlings again. It damaged me for a while. This has done exactly the same. I'm going to be honest and say that. And I don't mean like, oh, I'll never be the same. It brings it all home. Why we're doing this. Why all of us who are vegan are doing this. How infuriating it is when people mock what we're doing or just completely dismiss it. Oh, I could never do that.
It goes back to what I was saying before. It's that, you know, the people who mock it are unfortunately have not been necessarily equipped or have not equipped themselves more specifically with the information.
You have to educate yourself.
It's not propaganda. It doesn't only happen in certain areas or certain parts of the world. Dominion, a large percentage, if not all of it, is shot in Australia.
However, the statistics that at the start of each segment about the animals include China, America, the UK, Australia, in some cases New Zealand. There's a lot of information about how many animals are used for this or that per year in these countries. So although a lot of the footage is from Australia, all it does is document standard practices pretty much across the civilized world. Nothing about what we saw was civilized. Not one thing. There were 2 occasions, and I couldn't tell you what they were now, to be honest with you, because I'll explain. There were 2 occasions near the start of the documentary where I actually put my hands over my face or looked down. I couldn't. And then I got that thing that I get in myself, like, no, 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 no. If you're going to watch this, you must watch it all. And there were times throughout it when I just wanted to turn away.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a difficult watch, but this is the earth we live on. This is the planet that we have set as natural, normal, needed, none of which are true. We do not need to use and abuse and steal from and emotionally destroy and barbarically hurt and slaughter animals at all. And one of the points that the film kind of drives home, and which I really appreciate, because it's one I say to a lot of people. People throw this thing out like, oh, they're knocking down rainforests to grow soy for cattle. Just so you all know out there, and we can dispel that myth once and for all, most of the rainforest that gets cut down is to create grazing ground for cattle, because the meat demands of the world, even though there are so many of us vegans, still continue to...
Well, it's a drop in the ocean, let's be real.
What?
The mountain that the vegan community faces in terms of trying to educate and support other people against avoiding environmental damage that's irreversible, from just avoiding the cruelty to beautiful, intelligent, sentient creatures that we share this planet with. Fellow Earthlings, yeah. It's a huge, huge mountain to climb. But, I mean, from my perspective, what I would ask of our friends, our family, and anybody who stumbles across this video and watches it is that in the most positive way possible, please seek out the information. It's like I said before, it's not propaganda. There's scientific research now that's coming out left, right and centre that clearly supports this way of living and it being sustainable for health, human health, and for the planet. And if you aren't prepared to at least look into it and do a bit of research, or watch Dominion or Cowspiracy or Earthlings or anything, there's so much out there that you can educate yourself with, then please don't make light of it, don't mock it, don't try and attach humour to it, because it's not funny. And it actually, I can understand why so many vegans get so het up and angry.
That's because there's a lot of people out there, like, you know, someone will write something really passionate about their new vegan lifestyle, and then some fool will come along and go, bacon though.
Yeah, well, absolutely. That's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like, as if it's funny, and it's like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do it? It's to alleviate subconscious guilt, actually, is what it is. So let's get that down in pen as well. Whenever anyone mocks you for being vegan, or mocks your lifestyle, or tries to ridicule it, they are dealing with their own subconscious guilt. Because deep down, everybody knows. Everyone says, "Oh, I'm an animal lover. I love animals." And then it turns out that they love pets, and they don't give a damn about most animals on the earth. The point I was making before, by the way, about the whole rainforest thing, and crops going, did it spit on you then?
No.
Oh, sorry I did. Was that, as it was mentioned last night, we grow enough plant life on this planet to feed every single human being and more besides. And the majority of it gets fed to force-bred, abused animals so that they can be fattened up before being slaughtered against their will. How does any of that make sense? How does any of that make sense? It doesn't. Anyway, to the team behind Dominion, incredible work. And the addition of the of horses and minks and goats and dogs into that whole mix was genius, rather than just focusing on what we would commonly call farm animals, because we've been led to believe, you know, the pretty farm where everyone lives happily.
Just all animals that are exploited.
It's about exploitation.
It's putting dogs in the same bracket as chickens and pigs and cows, because
and telling their stories
the
too.
exploitation of dogs and cats and geese and swans for their fur, and being plucked alive to then be thrown back in the pen and then repeatedly plucked again at various other points. Anyway, digress. But yeah, it's brutal.
Now you see, you've just triggered a memory for me there. That was them screaming while they were being plucked.
So if you, like we was going back to what we said before, as Paul said, everybody involved with making Dominion, our hearts go out to you.
Thank you
For putting this on film and trying to educate the world. And there's more coming. There's more coming from Dominion. And I know the guys said at the end that if you've watched the film, and they were talking about self-care and how you can kind of, you know, look after your own mental health and that after watching something like that, because it is impacting and it is graphic at times, but we need to see it. There's a reason why slaughterhouses and places like that are hidden away from view.
Can I just say, there were the lady that asked, because it was somebody up on the balcony that shouted down about how do you do self-care after you've done this, because these guys were the ones getting into slaughterhouses, actually filming this stuff. We safely and securely sat and watched it.
Yeah.
And of course it still takes a level of self-care. It's tough being vegan only because we're in an animal abuse dominated world. But slowly that's changing.
And I try to be optimistic, and we try to be optimistic about it, but one of the things that really did ring home towards the end of the film, and again obviously this has been very, very closely documented and very closely researched in detail, they don't even measure the amount of sea life that is killed each year in numbers. They measure it in tonnage, and they measure it in tonnage because it's just too much to count. It's huge quantities, and because of that, it's highly likely that our oceans are going to be empty within our lifetimes. 2048, I think they quote, to quote Dominion. 25 years, the way that we're going now, our oceans are empty. There's nothing left, and we're already seeing the devastation. So from my perspective, and I know this has probably been a bit of a lengthy commentary
Review.
from my perspective, I would say, going back to what I said before, if you want to talk to me about being vegan, brilliant.
Or me.
Brilliant.
In fact, my friends will tell you, my personal friends would happily tell you, I've always been there, and many of them have messaged me and said, Paul, I'm thinking of trying a few things. What do you recommend for this or that? And I will always help to support anybody who decides to start making those changes. More than happy to come shopping with you, because that can be a bit of a gauntlet. No.
Hurdle?
A minefield, that's the word. That can be a bit of a minefield at first. Always happy to come shopping with friends, always happy to cook you a meal at yours or at mine, because it's that important. I will happily go out of my way to help anybody. I need to tell you this because it just came to my mind, and it was towards the end of the documentary. It was a little glimmer of hope, and it made me feel so much better. So if you are going to watch it, know that there is something good that will make you feel a bit better at the end. It was the little goat.
Yeah, well, you don't need to go into detail about it, because then if people are going to watch it, it can be a nice little surprise at the end, can't it?
Yeah. Don't get too sad when you see the little goat on its own. I did. Things might just be fine for the little goat. I'll just say that. Chris, it was great to meet you and shake your hand. Stellar work, incredible documentary. Please, people, have a look at the website, which is linked down below. The Dominion Movement, I think it is .au, because it's Australian. I think the link's down there anyway. I haven't got it yet, but I'll put it down there for sure. Have a look. If you see a screening in your locality, book a ticket, support this movement, please.
I think the next one's Liverpool.
Is it?
Yeah.
When is it? Do you know?
Oh, you put me on the spot now. But if you go again, like Paul said, click the link below. Check it out on the Facebook page. They've got all the dates for all of the screenings across the UK.
Please go to one. And if you could take a non-vegan friend, that would be awesome. If anybody would have wanted to come with us last night, I was planning to film a bit more there with the kind of questions and answers and stuff. But as you saw, we just did, before the screening, the trailer, and now this, our reaction and review. See Dominion. By the way, just randomly, today's the 19th of June. We watched the documentary last night in Manchester, and today's our anniversary. Today we've been together for 21 years.
21 years, married for 9.
And vegan for 5. Although the vegan for 5 thing isn't a definite date. As in, that didn't happen on the 19th of June.
No.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw it in there, because it's an important thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at us, strapping, healthy young men. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the team behind Dominion for making another massively important and brilliant expose of a world that is far too often hidden away and people avoid looking at. Please don't avoid looking at something you're a part of. If you're a part of it, see it, and if you're not happy with it, make changes. We're here to help you. Yeah. It was it.
Love you.
Love you. Oh, I know that was a really long pause, but now I'm going to say, please be excellent to each other and to animals. Yeah?